Hello, everyone. Sensei Swingle, Karate Fit USA. We're getting ready for the tournament in February, and I wanted to make a couple videos. This one's going to be about kata at tournaments. We've been practicing on the Saturdays. Hopefully, people have been practicing at home, but just some general comments. There's a couple videos I made separately about the Tournament Kata. For Tournament Kata, there's different kinds of tournaments. Some are more traditional, like the one that we're going to in February, and some are kind of sport tournaments where people are doing flips and cartwheels and spinning around and ki-eyeing for like 8 seconds. Crazy. Different tournaments are judged differently. Different judges are different. So I don't want anyone to really worry about their score, their place. Okay, just try to do your best job. And there's some things to help you do the best job, regardless of whatever kind of tournament it is. First, respect. Martial arts starts with respect. That's why we bow a lot. Okay, make sure you bow into the ring, bow to the judges before and after your performance when it's your turn. And also, before and after it's your turn, make sure you're waiting respectfully. Don't be lounging on the floor. Don't be goofing around. Okay, if it's not your turn, that means it's someone else's turn, and you should just respectfully watch what they're doing. Maybe someone picks the same kata that you're picking. Maybe their school does it differently. Just watch them respectfully. You don't have to stand at attention necessarily, but sit like attentively. Okay, and after you're done, remain respectful of the people that aren't done yet if you're not the last one. And that's just doesn't necessarily affect your score, but it's just an important thing in martial arts. So be respectful before, during, and after your event. Number 2, confidence. For kata, confidence is probably the most important thing, other than not falling down, unless you're supposed to fall down. Confidence is super important. A lot of the judges might not know the kata that you're doing, or they do it a different way than we do. So they can't really judge on whether you did it right, because maybe we do it differently, or maybe they don't know what right is. So they judge you on how confident you were, whether it looks like you did what you wanted to do. So you should be confident right from the start. When they call your name to come up, you bow, you walk up to them confidently. Take your time, strut on up, attention, bow, ready stance. Nobody tells you to do that. You just do those things. And then you make eye contact. You look at the judges. There's 5 of them usually. You look at the judges as you say your introduction, your name, the school name, your kata name. Okay? And if you're nervous at looking people in the eye, because looking at the floor is easier, but it's not very confident, you can look at their forehead. It looks like you're looking in their eyes, but you don't get freaked out because you're not actually looking in their eyes. Okay, so that's a trick if you're nervous. But make eye contact if you can. Judges, my name is Mark Swingle. I represent Karate Fit USA. With your permission, I would like to do Taikyoku Sandan. And then you attention and bow, and you back up confidently as much as you think you need to. If you've got long legs or doing a kata that moves more, you might have to move back more. Hopefully you have practiced that. And if you're smaller, you don't have to back up to the edge of the ring necessarily. You kind of want to be where they can see what you're doing. So figure out how far back you should go. And then nobody says anything, but you do your attention, bow, and ready stance, and you announce your kata confidently. Taikyoku Sandan! And then you go into whatever kata you picked. When you finish, come back to ready stance, attention and bow, and wait for your score. If you're one of the first 3 people, person number 1, person number 2, person number 3 all go and then go off the ring, and then they all come back and they all get their scores. After that, person number 4 does their stuff and gets his or her score right there. Okay, so unless you're the first 3 people, you finish your kata, you bow, so everybody knows you're done because they don't know your kata. Ready stance or at ease stance is fine after you bow, and they will give you a score, unless you're the first 3 people, in which case they'll say the next person, and you go wait over with the first person and the second person. The third person finishes, and then they call the first person back up, second person back up, third person back up, score, score, score. You guys are done. You bow again because you got called back up again. And then the 4th person and beyond comes on. If you have questions about that, let me know. But be confident walking up. Be confident with your talking. Be confident walking back to get ready. Be confident with your kata. Mistakes can be okay. If it's supposed to be a high strike and you do a low strike, do a really good high strike and keep going. Because again, people don't know that it was supposed to be a low strike necessarily. They only know if you do something and say, oh, why did I do that? Now everybody knows you did something you didn't want to do. Make them think that that's what you wanted to do. Okay, if you can, do the actual thing. If it's supposed to be a high strike, do a high strike. But if you make a mistake, just move on confidently and continue with the kata. Okay, because some people might not even know unless you tell them that you made a mistake. Okay, number 3. Don't rush. Don't rush. When you get all excited, when you get nervous, when the adrenaline starts going, it makes you move faster. You might not even realize it, but you're blazing through. And if you go too fast, it looks like you're not confident. It looks like you're trying to get it over with. Maybe you are, but don't make it look that way. You don't have to be confident. You just have to look confident. And one way to look more confident is to slow down. Okay, boom. Good stance, perfect punch, 2 knuckles, whatever it is you're doing. Okay, give them time to see what a great job you're doing and how confident you are about it. Don't rush. Okay, lock out your stances, lock out your techniques. You have to do the stances correctly as you're staying in there and showing them. Okay, but that's another way to seem as confident as you can. Number 4 in a kata, look at the bad guys. Don't look at the floor. Don't look at the judges, unless that's where the bad guy is. Look at the different bad guys as you're spinning around doing stuff. Look at what you're doing. It'll make it better. It'll make you do it better. There's something in Japan about kata, and it roughly translates to if you practice 100 times, you will remember the moves. If you practice 1,000 times, you will be able to see what the moves are doing. A punch is coming in, something's happening. You're able to see what's going on after you practice it 1,000 times. And after you practice it 10,000 times, this is just a Japanese, they have a lot of this stuff. After you practice it 10,000 times, somebody watching you can see the moves, can see what the moves are doing. Because you're doing it so good, they see a punch coming in. They see you hit the guy. They see somebody over there that just spin around and deal with. Okay, and that's what you're trying to do in a tournament. Okay, you're trying to not just make it through the moves eventually after you've practiced a lot. You're trying to show what the moves are doing. Okay, it does take a lot of practice. It takes some confidence. You got to take your time. But if you don't know what's going on, how is the judge supposed to guess what's going on? So try to really see it yourself, look at the bad guys, see what you're doing, and do that so well that the people watching you kind of see what's going on too, even if they don't know the kata. Again, just try and do your best. Maybe some people will be flipping and cartwheeling and doing weird stuff. Some tournaments reward that. I don't think this February one does, but don't worry about that. Just do the kata as best you can. Look at the bad guys, not the floor. Don't rush. Be confident, or at least look confident, even if you're not super confident, okay? And be respectful of the judges, of each other, and you should get the best score that you should get. And to get a better score, practice these things even more. Watch, if you don't win your division, perfectly fine. Watch the people that did and say, oh, that's what Sensei Swingle was talking about. Oh, that guy jumped and flipped around, and apparently the judges thought that was cool. We don't really jump and flip around. Just watch what works for the judges and what didn't work so well, and learn. In case you want to do this again, that's a good way to be ready for the next one. This experience, whether you win or not, whether you are happy or unhappy with how you did, it's a good experience to do it even better the next time, or even just to do kata here at the school better. Okay, that's why we're going.